1 hour of Roman Empire facts to fall asleep to. Welcome to our channel. Before starting, please like and subscribe for more stories. The story of Rome's founding is a blend of myth, legend, and archaeological evidence. At its core lies the tale of Romulus and Remus, twin brothers whose dramatic lives symbolized Rome's origins and its enduring spirit of resilience and power. This legendary foundation date, traditionally set at 753 BCE, marked the birth of a city that would grow to become the heart of one of history's most powerful empires. According to Roman mythology, Romulus and Remus were the sons of Rhea Silvia, a Vestal virgin, and Mars, the god of war. Rhea Silvia was the daughter of Numitor, the rightful king of Alba Longa, a city said to have been founded by the descendants of Aeneas, the Trojan hero. However, Numitor's throne was usurped by his brother Julius, who forced Rhea Silvia to take a vow of chastity as a Vestal virgin to prevent any heirs from threatening his rule. Despite this, Mars, enchanted by Rhea Silvia's beauty, visited her, and she gave birth to the twin boys. Julius, fearing the twins as potential rivals, ordered them to be killed. In a cruel twist of fate, they were placed in a basket and cast into the Tiber River, left to the mercy of the elements. Yet destiny intervened. The basket washed ashore at the base of the Palatine Hill, where the twins were discovered by a she-wolf or lupa, who nursed them until they were found by a shepherd named Faustulus and his wife. The shepherds raised the boys as their own, unaware of their royal lineage. As they grew, Romulus and Remus displayed extraordinary strength and leadership qualities. They became leaders among the local shepherd communities, defending them against thieves and invaders. Eventually, the truth of their birth was revealed. United with their grandfather Numitor, the twins led a revolt against Julius, overthrowing him and restoring Numitor to the throne of Alba Longa. With their family's honor restored, the brothers turned their attention to founding a new city near the site of their miraculous rescue by the Tiber. However, the founding of Rome was marred by a tragic and violent conflict. According to the legend, Romulus and Remus disagreed on which hill the new city should be built. Romulus favored the Palatine Hill, while Remus preferred the Aventine Hill. They decided to seek the will of the gods through augury, interpreting the flight of birds as divine signs. When Romulus claimed victory, the conflict escalated, and in a moment of fury, Romulus killed his brother. This fratricide became one of the defining elements of Rome's founding myth. While tragic, it also symbolized the city's future, a place where ambition, strength, and unity would prevail, even at great personal cost. Romulus became the first king of Rome, naming the city after himself and establishing its earliest institutions. Under Romulus, Rome was little more than a small settlement, surrounded by marshlands and hills. However, the fledgling city began to attract people from neighboring regions. Romulus opened Rome to outcasts, fugitives, and adventurers, creating a diverse population eager for opportunity. To ensure the survival of the city, Romulus addressed the lack of women among his settlers by orchestrating the infamous rape of the Sabine women. In this event, Roman men abducted women from the nearby Sabine tribe during a festival, forcing their integration into Roman society. Though initially leading to conflict, the Sabines eventually merged with the Romans, solidifying the city's strength in numbers. While the myth of Romulus and Remus is captivating, archaeological evidence suggests that the actual origins of Rome were more gradual and complex. By the 8th century BCE, small farming communities had already formed on the 7 hills that would later define the city. These settlements were likely inhabited by Latins, Etruscans, and other Italic tribes, who gradually came together to form a unified community. The strategic location of Rome, along the Tiber River and at the crossroads of important trade routes, made it a natural hub for commerce and interaction. The influence of the Etruscans, a powerful neighboring civilization, was particularly significant in shaping early Rome. The Etruscans were skilled builders and engineers, and they introduced key architectural innovations, such as the arch, which later became a hallmark of Roman construction. They also influenced Roman religion, politics, and social organization, leaving a lasting impact on the city's development. The early Roman kings, including Romulus and his successors, played a crucial role in laying the foundation for the city's later success. While Romulus is credited with establishing the Senate, a council of elders who advised the king, subsequent rulers expanded Rome's territory, built infrastructure, and codified laws. The monarchy lasted until 509 BCE, when the last king, Tarquinius Superbus, was overthrown, leading to the establishment of the Roman Republic. The story of Rome's founding, both the mythical and historical versions, reflects the values and ambitions that defined the city throughout its history. The tale of Romulus and Remus emphasizes the importance of destiny, strength, and sacrifice, while the archaeological record highlights Rome's pragmatic adaptability and strategic vision. Together, these narratives paint a picture of a city destined for greatness, born from a combination of myth, ingenuity, and determination. Even today, the legend of Romulus and Remus resonates as a symbol of Rome's enduring legacy. The image of the she-wolf nursing the twins remains one of the most iconic representations of Roman identity, appearing in sculptures, coins, and artworks throughout history. It serves as a reminder of the city's humble beginnings and its rise to become the center of an empire that would shape the course of Western civilization. The Roman Republic, established in 509 BCE, marked a pivotal moment in the history of Rome and the development of governance. After overthrowing the last king, Tarquinius Superbus, the Romans sought to create a political system that would prevent the concentration of power in the hands of a single ruler. This system of governance, known as the Republic, became one of Rome's most enduring legacies and influenced the development of democracies worldwide. The foundation of the Republic was driven by the idea of checks and balances, a structure designed to distribute power across various institutions and prevent any one individual or group from becoming too dominant. Instead of a monarchy, power was vested in elected officials and representative bodies. The Senate, an advisory council of aristocratic leaders, became the most influential institution in the Republic. Its members, drawn from Rome's elite families, known as patricians, wielded significant authority in shaping laws, foreign policy, and military decisions. At the heart of the Republic's executive branch were the two consuls, elected annually by the citizens. These consuls served as the chief executives and military commanders, sharing power to ensure that neither could act unilaterally. Each consul could veto the actions of the other, creating a built-in safeguard against abuses of power. This dual consul system was a revolutionary concept in governance, emphasizing the importance of accountability and collaboration. The Republic's political structure also included other magistrates, such as praetors, who oversaw judicial matters, and quaestors, who managed financial affairs. Over time, new offices were created to address specific needs, such as the censor, responsible for maintaining public morality and overseeing the census, and the dictator, an extraordinary position granted absolute power for a limited time during emergencies. The Roman Republic was not without its flaws, particularly in its social and political inequalities. The early Republic was dominated by the patricians, the wealthy aristocratic class who monopolized key positions of power. In contrast, the plebeians or commoners had little influence over political decisions, despite making up the majority of the population. This imbalance led to significant tensions between the two classes, resulting in a series of social and political struggles known as the conflict of the orders. The plebeians demanded greater representation and rights, leading to incremental reforms over the course of centuries. One of the most significant milestones was the creation of the tribune of the plebs in the 5th century BCE. This office, reserved exclusively for plebeians, granted its holders the power to veto actions by magistrates and protect the interests of the common people. The establishment of the concilium plebis, or plebeian assembly, further enhanced the political voice of the plebeians, allowing them to pass laws and elect their own officials. The 12 Tables, Rome's first codified legal system, were another critical development in bridging the gap between patricians and plebeians. Drafted in 451 to 450 BCE, these laws were inscribed on bronze tablets and publicly displayed, ensuring that all citizens could access and understand them. The 12 Tables provided a foundation for Roman law and established principles of justice and equality that would influence legal systems for millennia. The Republic's political system was not just a mechanism for governance, but also a reflection of Roman values. Central to the Republic was the concept of civic duty, or virtus, which emphasized the responsibility of citizens to participate in public life and contribute to the welfare of the state. Roman citizens were expected to serve in the military, vote in assemblies, and hold public office if called upon. This emphasis on civic engagement created a strong sense of identity and loyalty among the population, fostering unity and a shared commitment to Rome's success. This sense of residential publica, literally the public thing, was foundational to the Republic, representing the idea that Rome was a collective entity belonging to all its citizens, not just a ruling elite. The Roman assemblies were another key feature of the Republic, providing citizens with a platform to participate in decision-making. The Comitia Centuriata, or Centuriate Assembly, was responsible for electing consuls and other magistrates, declaring war and passing laws. It was organized by wealth, with the wealthiest citizens wielding the most influence, reflecting the Republic's social hierarchies. The Comitia Tributa, or Tribal Assembly, allowed citizens to vote on laws and elect officials based on their geographic tribes, ensuring broader representation. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Roman Republic was its adaptability. The political system evolved over time to address new challenges and incorporate changing social dynamics. This flexibility was essential in managing the complexities of a growing city-state that would eventually expand into a vast empire. For example, as Rome's territories grew, it became necessary to extend citizenship to people in conquered regions, integrating them into the Republic's political and military systems. This inclusion fostered loyalty and stability, ensuring that Rome's expansion did not come at the expense of internal cohesion. The Republic's military was deeply intertwined with its political system. Military service was both a duty and a privilege for Roman citizens, and successful generals often translated their battlefield achievements into political power. Figures like Scipio Africanus, who defeated Hannibal during the Second Punic War, became national heroes, celebrated for their contributions to Rome's glory. However, this close connection between military and political success also created opportunities for ambitious leaders to undermine the Republic's institutions. By the 2nd century BCE, the Republic faced significant internal and external challenges. The acquisition of vast territories during the Punic Wars and subsequent conflicts brought immense wealth to Rome, but this wealth was unevenly distributed, exacerbating social inequalities. The rise of powerful aristocratic families and the concentration of land in large estates, or latifundia, displaced many small farmers, leading to economic instability and social unrest. These tensions gave rise to reform movements, such as those led by the Gracchi brothers, who sought to address inequality through land redistribution and other measures. Although their efforts ultimately failed, they highlighted the growing divisions within Roman society. The late Republic was marked by a series of crises that tested its resilience. Political corruption, power struggles among the elite, and the erosion of traditional values undermined the Republic's stability. The rise of populares, leaders who sought to gain power by appealing directly to the masses, challenged the authority of the Senate and traditional aristocratic institutions. The Roman Empire's unparalleled success in expanding its territory across Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa was largely driven by its formidable military. The Roman legions were more than just an army. They were a symbol of discipline, strategy, and engineering prowess, capable of conquering and integrating diverse peoples into the empire. Rome's military strength was not only about brute force, but also about its ability to adapt, innovate, and maintain control over vast territories for centuries. The Roman military was built on a foundation of discipline and organization. From the early days of the Republic, service in the army was considered a duty of citizenship, and soldiers were expected to embody the values of virtus, courage, and discipline. Early Roman armies were composed of citizen soldiers, landowners who were required to provide their own weapons and armor. This structure fostered a sense of loyalty and shared purpose among the soldiers, as they were defending their homeland and way of life. The military evolved over time to meet the needs of an expanding republic and later empire. By the time of the Punic Wars in the 3rd and 2nd centuries BCE, the Roman legions had become a professionalized force. Soldiers were recruited from a broader base of society, including non-landowning citizens, and were provided with standardized equipment by the state. This shift allowed Rome to field larger and more consistent armies, capable of campaigning for extended periods. The structure of the Roman legion was a key factor in its success. A typical legion consisted of 4,000 to 6,000 soldiers, divided into smaller units called centuries, each led by a centurion. This organization allowed for flexibility on the battlefield, enabling Roman commanders to adapt their strategies to different opponents and terrains. Roman soldiers were trained rigorously in formation tactics, hand-to-hand combat, and the use of weapons such as the gladius, short sword, and pilum, javelin. This training, combined with the discipline instilled by strict military codes, made the legions an unstoppable force. One of the most significant periods of Roman military expansion occurred during the Punic Wars, 264 to 146 BCE, a series of three conflicts between Rome and Carthage. The Punic Wars were fought over control of key trade routes and territories in the Mediterranean. The First Punic War saw Rome develop its naval capabilities to challenge Carthage's dominance at sea, resulting in the conquest of Sicily, Rome's first overseas province. The Second Punic War was marked by the brilliance of the Carthaginian general Hannibal, who led his army, including war elephants, across the Alps to invade Italy. Despite suffering devastating defeats, such as the Battle of Cannae, Rome's resilience and strategic leadership under generals like Scipio Africanus ultimately led to victory. The war ended with the defeat of Carthage at the Battle of Zama in 202 BCE, securing Roman dominance in the western Mediterranean. The Third Punic War culminated in the destruction of Carthage, turning North Africa into a Roman province. Rome's military success extended beyond the Mediterranean. In Gaul, modern-day France and Belgium, Julius Caesar conducted a series of campaigns between 58 and 50 BCE that showcased the might of the Roman legions. Caesar's conquest of Gaul brought vast wealth to Rome and extended its borders to the Rhine River. His detailed accounts of the Gallic Wars, recorded in his work Commentarii de Bello Gallico, highlight both the effectiveness of Roman strategy and the brutality of their methods. Caesar's triumph in Gaul solidified his reputation as one of Rome's greatest military leaders and paved the way for his eventual rise to power. The Roman military was not only adept at conquest but also at integration. After conquering a region, the Romans established roads, forts, and settlements to maintain control and facilitate communication. Conquered peoples were often granted varying degrees of citizenship, incentivizing loyalty to Rome. This policy of inclusion helped to stabilize newly acquired territories and ensured a steady supply of soldiers and resources for the empire. The construction of roads, such as the Via Appia, was particularly important, allowing Roman armies to move quickly across the empire and reinforcing Rome's presence in distant provinces. Roman engineering was another critical factor in the military's success. The legions were not only warriors but also builders, capable of constructing bridges, aqueducts, and fortifications in record time. During campaigns, soldiers would build fortified camps at the end of each day, providing a secure base of operations. These camps often served as the foundations for future Roman towns and cities, further extending Rome's influence. The Roman military's adaptability was evident in its ability to learn from its enemies. For example, during the wars against the Greek kingdoms, the Romans adopted elements of the phalanx formation and incorporated them into their own tactics. Similarly, Rome's encounters with the Parthians in the east led to the development of strategies to counter their cavalry and archers. This willingness to evolve ensured that the Roman legions remained effective against a wide range of adversaries. Rome's military power reached its zenith during the Pax Romana, a 200-year period of relative peace and stability that began with the reign of Augustus in 27 BCE. During this time, the legions primarily focused on defending the empire's borders rather than expanding them. However, even during the Pax Romana, the Roman army remained a critical tool for maintaining order and suppressing rebellions in the provinces. Despite its strengths, the Roman military was not invincible. Over time, the growing size and complexity of the empire strained its resources, making it increasingly difficult to defend its vast borders. The later empire faced invasions by Germanic tribes, Huns, and other groups, highlighting the limits of Roman military power. The defeat at the Battle of Teutoburg Forest, 9 CE, where 3 Roman legions were ambushed and destroyed by Germanic forces, was a stark reminder of the challenges Rome faced in expanding and maintaining its territory. The Roman military's legacy is immense. Its strategies, organizational structure, and engineering achievements influenced armies for centuries. The discipline and innovation of the Roman legion set a standard for military excellence that remains a benchmark in the modern world. Beyond its tactical successes, The military was a driving force behind Rome's cultural and economic integration, laying the foundation for the empire's enduring influence. The story of Rome's military is not just one of conquest and power, but also of resilience and adaptation. From the disciplined ranks of the early republic to the vast, professional armies of the empire, the Roman military exemplified the qualities that made Rome one of history's greatest civilizations. The story of Julius Caesar is one of ambition, military genius, and political upheaval, culminating in the fall of the Roman Republic. His life and actions marked a turning point in Roman history, transitioning Rome from a republican system of government to an imperial one. Caesar's meteoric rise, his controversial reforms, and his dramatic assassination on the Ides of March 1544 BCE, forever altered the course of Roman civilization. Julius Caesar was born in 100 BCE into the Julii family, a patrician lineage that traced its origins back to the mythical Trojan Prince Aeneas. Despite this noble heritage, his family was not particularly wealthy or politically influential at the time of his birth. However, Caesar's sharp intellect, charisma, and military talents would soon set him apart. Early in his career, he gained recognition for his oratory skills and his ability to forge alliances with powerful figures in Roman politics. Caesar's ascent began in earnest during his service as a military officer. He gained experience in campaigns in Asia Minor and Hispania, modern-day Spain, where he demonstrated his tactical brilliance. By 60 BCE, Caesar had aligned himself with Pompey the Great, a celebrated general, and Crassus, the wealthiest man in Rome, forming the First Triumvirate, a political alliance that allowed the three men to dominate Roman politics. Caesar's role in this alliance positioned him as a rising star in the Republic. In 59 BCE, Caesar was elected consul, the highest office in the Republic. During his consulship, he pushed through key reforms, including measures to redistribute land to veterans and the poor, often in defiance of the Senate's wishes. These actions earned him the loyalty of the plebeians but deepened animosity among the Senate's conservative elite. After his term as consul, Caesar secured a 5-year governorship over Cisalpine Gaul, Transalpine Gaul, and Illyricum, providing him with the opportunity to expand Rome's territories and bolster his personal power. Caesar's military campaigns in Gaul, 58 to 50 BCE, are among the most celebrated in Roman history. Over nearly a decade, he led the legions in a series of battles and sieges that brought the entirety of Gaul under Roman control. His victories over powerful tribes, such as the Helvetii and the Arverni, showcased his strategic brilliance. One of his most notable achievements was the defeat of Vercingetorix, the Gallic chieftain who united the tribes in a last-ditch rebellion. The Battle of Alesia, 52 BCE, where Caesar's forces besieged and defeated Vercingetorix's army, solidified Caesar's reputation as one of Rome's greatest generals. Caesar's commentaries on the Gallic War, written during these campaigns, serve as both a military report and a propaganda tool. In these accounts, Caesar portrayed himself as a heroic leader defending Rome's interests, carefully crafting a narrative that bolstered his popularity among the Roman people. His conquests brought immense wealth to Rome and to himself, further enhancing his standing. However, Caesar's growing power alarmed many in the Senate, particularly his former ally Pompey. The alliance of the First Triumvirate had already begun to crumble following the death of Crassus in 53 BCE. Without Crassus to mediate, tensions between Caesar and Pompey escalated. The Senate, siding with Pompey, ordered Caesar to disband his army and return to Rome as a private citizen. Defying this order, Caesar made a fateful decision. In 49 BCE, he crossed the Rubicon River with his army, an act of rebellion against the Senate. This declaration of war is famously associated with Caesar's phrase, Alia iacta est, the die is cast. The subsequent Roman Civil War, 49 to 45 BCE, pitted Caesar's forces against those loyal to Pompey and the Senate. Caesar's military genius quickly became apparent as he won decisive victories, including the Battle of Pharsalus, 48 BCE, where his smaller army defeated Pompey's much larger force. Pompey fled to Egypt, where he was assassinated on orders of the Egyptian pharaoh Ptolemy XIII. Caesar, arriving in Egypt shortly afterward, became entangled in a political dispute between Ptolemy and his sister Cleopatra VII. Caesar's support for Cleopatra not only solidified her rule, but also began a legendary romance between the two. With Pompey dead, Caesar returned to Rome as the undisputed master of the Republic. However, he faced the daunting task of rebuilding a fractured state. As dictator, Caesar implemented a series of ambitious reforms aimed at stabilizing Rome and addressing long-standing social and economic issues. He expanded the Senate, granting membership to representatives from the provinces, restructured debts, and initiated public works projects to provide employment. He also reformed the calendar, introducing the Julian calendar, which became the basis for the modern calendar used today. Despite these achievements, Caesar's concentration of power alienated many in the Senate. His appointment as dictator for life in 44 BCE marked a departure from traditional republican values, which prized the distribution of power and the rule of law. To many senators, Caesar's actions resembled those of a king, a title Romans despised since the expulsion of their last monarch. The fear that Caesar intended to crown himself emperor fueled a conspiracy among senators, led by Brutus and Cassius, both of whom had once been close to him. On the Ides of March 1544 BCE, Caesar was assassinated during a Senate meeting. The conspirators, numbering over 60, stabbed him multiple times, believing they were saving the Republic. According to legend, Caesar's last words were "Et tu, Brute?" "You too, Brutus," a phrase that symbolizes betrayal to this day. However, the assassination did not restore the Republic as the conspirators had hoped. Instead, it plunged Rome into another series of civil wars, leading to the rise of Caesar's heir, Octavian, later Augustus, and the establishment of the Roman Empire. The fall of the Republic was not solely due to Caesar's actions. It was a culmination of decades of political corruption, social inequality, and power struggles. Caesar's rise and assassination highlight the fragility of the Republic's institutions and the dangers of unchecked ambition. His legacy, however, is profound. Julius Caesar remains one of the most iconic figures in history, remembered for his military brilliance, political reforms, and pivotal role in the transformation of Rome. The Roman Empire officially began in 27 BCE when Octavian, later known as Augustus, was granted the title of princeps and became the first emperor of Rome. This marked the end of the Republic and the beginning of the imperial era, which would last for nearly 500 years. Augustus laid the foundation for one of Rome's most remarkable periods, the Pax Romana Roman peace, a 200-year era of relative stability, prosperity, and cultural flourishing that stretched from 27 BCE to around 180 CE. The Pax Romana was not just an era of peace. It was also a time of immense expansion and consolidation. Augustus reorganized the military, establishing a standing professional army of approximately 300,000 soldiers, stationed in provinces along the empire's frontiers. These soldiers not only defended the borders, but also maintained order within the provinces, ensuring that rebellion and unrest were swiftly suppressed. The empire expanded to include regions such as Egypt, parts of the Middle East, and Central Europe, with the Rhine and Danube rivers marking key boundaries in the north. To govern such a vast empire, Augustus implemented sweeping administrative reforms. He appointed provincial governors who reported directly to him, ensuring that the provinces remained loyal and well-managed. Tax collection was restructured to reduce corruption, and public works projects were initiated to enhance infrastructure, including roads, bridges, aqueducts, and ports. The famous Roman road network, covering more than 250,000 miles, became the arteries of the empire, facilitating trade, communication, and military movement. Culturally, the Pax Romana was a golden age for Rome. Augustus patronized the arts, leading to a flourishing of literature, architecture, and sculpture. Writers such as Virgil, Horace, and Ovid produced works that celebrated Rome's greatness and reinforced its cultural identity. Virgil's epic poem, the Aeneid, for instance, linked Rome's origins to the heroic traditions of Troy, giving the empire a mythological foundation that underscored its destiny to rule. Architecture also reached new heights during the Pax Romana. Structures like the Arapaces, Altar of Peace, the Pantheon, and the Forum of Augustus symbolized the power and stability of the empire. Urban planning transformed cities across the provinces into miniature Romes, complete with forums, amphitheaters, and baths. The Colosseum, built slightly later during the Flavian dynasty, remains one of the most iconic examples of Roman engineering and entertainment culture. The empire's prosperity was fueled by an interconnected economy. Trade thrived within the empire's borders, with goods such as grain from Egypt, olive oil from Spain, and wine from Gaul flowing into Rome and its provinces. The empire's vast network of roads in the Mediterranean Sea, referred to by the Romans as Mare Nostrum, or sea, facilitated the movement of goods, people, and ideas. Standardized currency and weights further streamlined commerce, creating a unified economic system. Despite the general stability of the Pax Romana, it was not without challenges. Border skirmishes with Germanic tribes and Parthians occasionally erupted, and maintaining the loyalty of far-flung provinces required constant vigilance. Nevertheless, the relative peace allowed Rome to focus on internal development rather than external conquest. The empire became a melting pot of cultures, languages, and religions, with Roman law and customs providing a unifying framework. The Pax Romana reached its zenith under the rule of the five good emperors, 96 to 180 CE, including Trajan, Hadrian, and Marcus Aurelius. Trajan expanded the empire to its greatest territorial extent, incorporating Dacia, modern Romania, and parts of the Middle East. Hadrian, in contrast, focused on consolidation, building defensive structures like Hadrian's Wall in Britain to secure the empire's borders. Marcus Aurelius, a philosopher king, maintained stability while grappling with challenges like the Marcomannic Wars and the first signs of internal decline. By the end of the Pax Romana, cracks in the empire's foundation began to emerge. Political instability, economic pressures, and external threats gradually eroded the stability that had defined the period. Nevertheless, the achievements of the Pax Romana left a lasting legacy, shaping the Roman Empire's identity and ensuring its influence endured long after its decline. Roman engineering and architecture are among the empire's most enduring legacies, demonstrating unparalleled innovation, practicality, and durability. The Romans were master builders, creating infrastructure and monuments that not only served practical purposes, but also symbolized the empire's power and sophistication. From aqueducts to amphitheaters, Roman engineering transformed the ancient world and laid the foundation for modern construction techniques. One of Rome's most remarkable achievements was its development of concrete, a versatile and durable building material that allowed for the construction of large and complex structures. Roman concrete, or opus caementitium, combined lime, volcanic ash, and rubble, making it both strong and resistant to the elements. This innovation enabled the creation of architectural marvels such as the Pantheon, whose massive dome remains the largest unreinforced concrete dome in the world. Aqueducts were another hallmark of Roman engineering. These structures transported water from distant sources to cities and towns, ensuring a reliable supply for drinking, bathing, and irrigation. The Aqua Appia, built in 312 BCE, was Rome's first aqueduct, and over time, the network expanded to include iconic structures like the Pont du Gard in Gaul and the Aqua Claudia in Rome. These aqueducts, often spanning miles, were feats of precision and ingenuity, relying on subtle gradients to maintain a steady flow of water. Roman roads were equally transformative. Built to connect the empire's vast territories, the roads facilitated trade, communication, and military mobility. The Via Appia, constructed in 312 BCE, was one of the first major Roman roads and became a model for subsequent projects. These roads were meticulously constructed with layers of stone, gravel, and sand, ensuring durability. The phrase, "all roads lead to Rome," reflects the central role these roads played in unifying the empire. Monumental architecture showcased the grandeur of Rome. The Colosseum, completed in 80 CE, could hold up to 50,000 spectators and hosted gladiatorial games, animal hunts, and public spectacles. Its design, featuring arches and tiered seating, influenced amphitheaters worldwide. Similarly, the Roman Forum served as the political and social heart of Rome, with temples, basilicas, and meeting spaces that reflected the city's status as the center of the empire. Romans also excelled in urban planning. Cities were carefully organized with a grid layout, including public spaces such as forums, baths, and theaters. The public baths, or thermae, were centers of social life, offering not just bathing facilities but also gyms, libraries, and gardens. Structures like the Baths of Caracalla exemplify the scale and luxury of these complexes. Defensive architecture was another area of expertise. The construction of Hadrian's Wall in Britain and the Limes Germanicus along the Rhine and Danube rivers demonstrated Rome's commitment to securing its borders. These fortifications, complete with watchtowers and garrisons, protected the empire from external threats while showcasing its engineering capabilities. Roman engineering extended beyond construction to include advances in hydraulics, mining, and machinery. The Archimedean screw, Roman cranes, and water-powered mills exemplify their practical innovations. These technologies supported agriculture, industry, and urban development, contributing to the empire's prosperity. The influence of Roman engineering and architecture can still be seen today. Many Roman roads, bridges, and aqueducts remain in use, and their principles continue to inspire modern infrastructure projects. The legacy of Roman innovation underscores the empire's ability to combine functionality with beauty, leaving a lasting impact on the world. Daily life in ancient Rome was a fascinating blend of social stratification, bustling urban centers, and cultural activities. Whether one was a wealthy patrician or a struggling plebeian, life in the empire's capital and other cities revolved around work, family, leisure, and religion. Rome's urban landscape offered a dynamic and lively environment, with markets, public baths, and arenas providing the backdrop for social interaction and entertainment. Social structure and classes. Roman society was highly hierarchical, with clear divisions between classes. At the top were the patricians, wealthy landowners, and political elites who often controlled the government and economy. Below them were the plebeians, the working-class majority, including farmers, craftsmen, and laborers. Freedmen, former slaves, occupied a unique position, enjoying limited rights and often working in trades or commerce. At the bottom of the hierarchy were slaves, who made up a significant portion of the population and were used in agriculture, construction, and household work. Despite these divisions, social mobility was possible, particularly for freedmen or plebeians who accumulated wealth or earned military distinctions. Patronage relationships, in which wealthier individuals, patrons, offered protection and support to their clients, often plebeians, reinforced these social bonds. This system, though unequal, provided a sense of interdependence across the social spectrum. Housing and living conditions. Housing in Rome varied greatly by class. Wealthy patricians lived in domus, luxurious private homes featuring courtyards, gardens, and lavish decorations. These houses often included mosaics, frescoes, and intricate designs that showcased their owner's status. In contrast, plebeians and the urban poor lived in insulated, multi-story apartment buildings that were often overcrowded and prone to collapse or fire. These apartments lacked proper sanitation, with waste being dumped into the streets, contributing to the city's infamous stench. Despite the hardships, urban life in Rome was vibrant. The streets were lined with tabernae, shops selling food, goods, and services. Markets like the Forum Boarium were bustling centers of commerce, where citizens purchased fresh produce, fish, and bread. Public fountains and aqueducts supplied water to the city, while communal latrines provided basic sanitation. Family and social roles. The Roman family was patriarchal, with the paterfamilias, male head of the household, holding authority over all members. Women, while considered subordinate to men, played essential roles in managing households and raising children. Wealthy Roman women often oversaw servants and participated in social events, while poorer women worked as laborers, midwives, or shopkeepers. Marriage was a central institution, often arranged to strengthen political or economic alliances. Children in Rome were expected to learn the values of discipline and duty from an early age. Boys from wealthy families received formal education, studying literature, rhetoric, and philosophy to prepare for public life. Girls, on the other hand, were typically trained in domestic skills, though some from affluent families received advanced education. Food and dining. Food was an important aspect of Roman life, with diets varying based on social status. The wealthy enjoyed lavish banquets featuring exotic ingredients such as dormice, oysters, and peacocks, accompanied by wine flavored with honey and spices. These feasts were not just meals, but also opportunities to display wealth and entertain guests. In contrast, the poor relied on simple staples like bread, porridge, and vegetables, occasionally supplemented by fish or meat when affordable. The thermopolium, an ancient equivalent of fast food stalls, was a common feature in cities, These establishments serve hot meals, catering to the urban poor who lacked cooking facilities in their insulae. Public bakeries also ensured access to bread, a crucial element of the Roman diet. Entertainment and leisure. Entertainment was a cornerstone of Roman life, with the state providing free spectacles to maintain public morale. Gladiatorial games held in the Colosseum drew massive crowds, eager to watch warriors and animals battle to the death. Chariot races at the Circus Maximus were equally popular, with factions representing different colors, red, blue, green, and white, fostering intense rivalries among fans. Public baths or thermae were more than just places to bathe. They were social hubs where Romans gathered to relax, exercise, and conduct business. These complexes often included swimming pools, steam rooms, and libraries, making them an integral part of daily life. The baths of Caracalla and the baths of Diocletian are prime examples of these grand facilities. Theaters and amphitheaters hosted plays, musical performances, and mime shows, providing entertainment for all classes. Religious festivals, such as the Saturnalia or Lupercalia, brought communities together to celebrate with feasts, games, and processions. Religion and superstition. Religion permeated every aspect of Roman life. The Romans worshipped a pantheon of gods, including Jupiter, Juno, Mars, and Minerva, believing that their favor ensured the prosperity of the state. Temples and altars dotted the urban landscape, and religious rituals were performed regularly to honor the gods. Superstition also played a significant role in Roman life. Omens, astrology, and augury, interpreting the flight of birds, were widely believed to influence daily decisions. Priests and augurs held respected positions, guiding political and military leaders based on these divine signs. Challenges and hardships. Despite its vibrancy, daily life in Rome was not without challenges. Fires, floods, and disease outbreaks were common in the densely populated city. The poorest citizens often faced food shortages, leading to reliance on grain distributions and nona provided by the state. Crime, too, was a persistent issue, particularly in the darker, narrow alleys of the city. Religion was central to Roman life, shaping the empire's identity and providing a sense of order and continuity. The Romans were polytheistic, worshipping a vast pantheon of gods and spirits associated with various aspects of life, nature, and the state. Roman religion was deeply practical, emphasizing rituals and ceremonies designed to maintain the favor of the gods and ensure the prosperity of the community. The Roman pantheon was closely tied to Greek mythology, with many deities being adaptations of Greek gods. For example, Jupiter was equated with Zeus, Mars with Ares, and Venus with Aphrodite. However, the Romans imbued their gods with uniquely Roman qualities, often linking them to civic virtues like duty, discipline, and loyalty. Central to Roman religion were public ceremonies and festivals, conducted by priests, magistrates, and even the emperor. The role of the Pontifex Maximus, or chief priest, was one of the most prestigious positions in Roman society, often held by leading political figures. Temples, such as the Temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus, served as focal points for worship and civic pride. The household gods, or Lares and Penates, played an equally important role in private life. Families maintained small shrines in their homes, offering prayers and sacrifices to these protective spirits. Births, marriages, and other milestones were marked by rituals designed to ensure divine blessings. As the empire expanded, it absorbed the religious practices of conquered peoples, creating a rich and diverse spiritual landscape. Eastern deities like Isis from Egypt and Mithras from Persia gained popularity, particularly among soldiers and the lower classes. This openness to foreign religions reflected the inclusive nature of Roman society, but also sparked tensions, particularly with monotheistic faiths like Judaism and Christianity. The rise of Christianity, in particular, marked a profound shift in Roman religion. Initially persecuted for their refusal to worship Roman gods, Christians gained acceptance under Emperor Constantine, who issued the Edict of Milan in 313 CE, granting religious tolerance. By the end of the 4th century, Christianity had become the empire's official religion, transforming Rome's spiritual identity. The decline and eventual fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 CE marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in European history. While the Eastern Roman Empire, later known as the Byzantine Empire, would endure for nearly another 1,000 years. The collapse of the western half was a result of a combination of internal weaknesses, external pressures, and a series of pivotal events. Internal challenges, political instability, and corruption. One of the key factors in Rome's decline was its persistent political instability. After the Pax Romana ended in 180 CE, the empire entered a period of turbulence characterized by weak leadership and frequent changes in rulers. During the crisis of the 3rd century, 235 to 284 CE, Rome saw over 20 emperors rise and fall within just 50 years, many of whom were overthrown or assassinated. This political chaos weakened central authority and undermined the empire's ability to respond to threats. Corruption further eroded trust in the government. Provincial governors and officials often exploited their positions for personal gain, while the tax system became increasingly oppressive. The burden of high taxes fell disproportionately on the lower classes, leading to widespread discontent and economic stagnation. Economic decline and inflation. Rome's vast empire required immense resources to sustain its military, infrastructure, and bureaucracy. However, by the 3rd century CE, the economy began to falter. One of the primary causes was the debasement of Roman currency, in which emperors reduced the silver and gold content of coins to fund military campaigns and administrative costs. This led to rampant inflation, devaluing money and eroding confidence in the economy. Trade, once the lifeblood of the empire, also suffered due to increasing instability. Pirates and bandits disrupted trade routes, while Rome's reliance on slave labor hindered technological innovation and economic diversification. Agricultural production declined, particularly in regions devastated by warfare or overexploitation, leading to food shortages and population decline. Military challenges, barbarian invasions, and overextension. The Roman military, once the backbone of the empire, faced numerous challenges during its decline. Overextension was a major issue, as Rome struggled to defend its vast borders from increasingly frequent incursions by Germanic tribes, Huns, and other groups. Maintaining such a large standing army strained the empire's finances and often required the recruitment of mercenaries who lacked the loyalty and discipline of traditional Roman soldiers. The rise of the Huns, a nomadic people from Central Asia, in the 4th and 5th centuries CE intensified these pressures. Under the leadership of Attila the Hun, they launched devastating raids into Roman territory, forcing Germanic tribes like the Visigoths and Vandals to flee into Roman lands. These migrations created further instability, as the displaced tribes clashed with Roman authorities and sought to carve out their own territories within the empire. The sack of Rome by the Visigoths in 410 CE, led by their king Alaric, was a symbolic blow to the empire's prestige. This was followed by the Vandals' sack of Rome in 455 CE, which further highlighted the empire's vulnerability. By the mid-5th century, the Western Roman Empire was little more than a shadow of its former self, with its authority confined to Italy and parts of Gaul. The fall of Rome in 476 CE. The traditional date for the fall of the Western Roman Empire is 476 CE, when the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was deposed by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer. Unlike earlier invaders, Odoacer did not install another Roman ruler. Instead, he declared himself king of Italy, effectively ending Roman rule in the West. The Eastern Roman Empire, based in Constantinople, acknowledged Odoacer's authority but retained its claim to the title of Roman Emperor. While the fall of Rome marked the end of centralized Roman authority in the West, many aspects of Roman culture, law, and governance survived through the institutions of the Catholic Church and the emerging medieval kingdoms. Although the Roman Empire fell in the West, its influence endured and shaped the foundations of modern Western civilization. The empire's contributions to government, law, architecture, language, and culture have left an indelible mark on the world, making Rome a touchstone for ideas of progress, order, and innovation. Law and governance. Roman legal principles are among the empire's most enduring legacies. The 12 tables established during the Republic and later legal codifications like the Corpus Juris Civilis, body of civil law, under Emperor Justinian in the Eastern Roman Empire, provided a foundation for many modern legal systems. Concepts such as innocent until proven guilty and the right to face one's accuser originated in Roman law and remain central to judicial systems worldwide. The Roman model of republican governance also influenced later political systems, including the development of democratic principles in the United States and other modern nations. Institutions such as the Senate, checks and balances, and the rule of law can be traced back to the Roman Republic. Language and literature. The Latin language, Rome's lingua franca, evolved into the Romance languages, including Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Romanian. Latin also became the language of scholarship, religion, and administration in Europe for centuries, influencing English and other languages. Works by Roman authors like Virgil, Cicero, and Ovid continue to be studied for their literary and rhetorical brilliance. Architecture and engineering. Roman architectural and engineering innovations, such as the use of arches, aqueducts, and concrete, revolutionized construction and continue to inspire modern architecture. Iconic structures like the Pantheon, Colosseum, and Roman roads demonstrate the durability and ingenuity of Roman design. These innovations influenced Renaissance and neoclassical architecture and remain benchmarks of engineering excellence. Religion and philosophy. The Roman Empire played a central role in the spread of Christianity, which emerged in the eastern provinces during the 1st century CE. Despite initial persecution, Christianity became the empire's dominant religion under Emperor Constantine and later the official religion under Emperor Theodosius. The fusion of Roman and Christian tradition shaped medieval Europe, with the Catholic Church preserving many Roman ideas and institutions. Roman philosophy, particularly the works of Seneca, Cicero, and Marcus Aurelius, emphasized ethics, duty, and the importance of reason. These ideas influenced later philosophical movements, including the Renaissance and the Enlightenment. Cultural and global influence. The concept of a unified empire with shared laws, infrastructure, and cultural identity set a precedent for future empires, including the Byzantine Empire and the Holy Roman Empire. Even today, Rome symbolizes power, ambition, and cultural achievement, inspiring everything from political rhetoric to popular media. The fall of Rome was not the end but a transformation, as Roman ideas and institutions continued to evolve and adapt to new contexts. Whether through the Roman legal system, architectural marvels, or the spread of Christianity, the legacy of Rome is a testament to the enduring impact of one of history's greatest civilizations.